What made you finally stop being a good wife? When I married him, I thought dishes and laundry would be our biggest fights. But somehow, between saying I do and our first anniversary, I married a man who turned my bank account into his personal piggy bank. At first, it was small amounts. $20 here, $50 there. Always with a quick, sorry babe, forgot to tell you text after. I'd smile and say it was fine because that's what good wives do, right? The first time I noticed something really wrong was when my card declined at the grocery store. I stood there, cart full of food, face burning while people waited behind me. He had taken $200 from our grocery money without saying a word. When I called him, he said his card wasn't working and he needed gas. I believed him, but the amounts got bigger and the excuses got weaker. $500 from my personal savings became it's for a surprise. $700 from our utility fund turned into I'll pay you back next week. Each time, he'd kiss my forehead and tell me I was the best wife ever for understanding. I started picking up extra shifts at the hospital, working doubles until my feet ached. I got creative with hiding money, stuffing cash in tampon boxes, old shoes between book pages. I even opened a secret account at a different bank and had my overtime checks sent there. Every time I felt guilty about hiding money, I'd check our main account and find it drained again. One morning, after a 12-hour night shift, I woke up to my phone buzzing with bank alerts. He'd taken our entire rent money, $1,800, while I was sleeping. His excuse? He needed to help his gaming friend who was going through a rough time. I sat in our kitchen staring at my empty account, realizing I'd spent 2 years being an ATM instead of a wife. That's when something in me finally broke. I waited until he left for work. Then I went through our apartment like a forensic accountant. I gathered every receipt, every bank statement, every money transfer notification, 2 years of withdrawals, empty promises, and financial abuse, all laid out chronologically on our dining table. When he came home, I wasn't crying or yelling. I just sat there with 2 years of paper proof spread out like a timeline of theft. He walked in, saw the receipts, and his face went white. Before he could speak, I held up my hand and told him, I'm not your bank anymore. Then I slid a bill across the table. Not for divorce, but an itemized invoice for every dollar he'd borrowed over 2 years. The total came to $23,467. He laughed at first, thinking it was a joke, but I wasn't smiling. I told him he had 2 choices. Pay me back every cent with interest, or I'd take our financial records to his mother, the one who still paid his phone bill at 32. The real kicker? It worked. He moved out that week and suddenly had enough money to pay me $500 monthly installments. His mother keeps asking why her sweet boy suddenly needed a loan to pay back his crazy wife. Now I live alone in a smaller apartment, but my bank account is full, and I don't check my balance every morning wondering what's left of my paycheck. Sometimes I think about the $23,467 as tuition, the price I paid to learn my worth. At least the lessons finally stuck.